All right. We're back again. This is the Hav-Life coach. Shine Dr. Life. Shine Dr. Life. The watchman. In the business of saving lives. First responder. Responding to man-made disasters. This is shirt. This is skins. We're going from skins to shirts. That's what we do. We go from skins to shirts. That's the uniform when you made the team. This is the Hav-Life line. So what I'm going to do is, this is in response to just the industry at large. The industry at large attack on my wife's desires of her heart for her children to make this team and win the championship. And the industry and the world's challenge to those desires to derail them. And my brothers and sisters around the globe, especially those that have been in the trenches with my bride, raising children in the same age groups, in the same cities, in the same urban environments. Like, for instance, my brother Spider Lowe, my brother Curtis Narvell Williams, my brother SPI. I think he has 4 boys and 2 girls. And my brother has been in the West Coast, in LA and in Compton, battling and standing up for families and fatherhood and the image of his sons and protecting his daughters. It seems all by himself and alone. The church ain't there with him. The men of God ain't nowhere there with him. And then Snoop the lion. Snoop lion on the lion from the tribe of Judah. Like 14, 15 years ago, creates a youth football league. And my brother's sons play in the youth football league. And then Snoop's image is anything but that which promotes manhood, that which promotes the things that this father is trying to put in the life of his children. And by himself, this father is standing up to the assault and the attack on manhood, on families, on marriage, on God's covenant, on the worship. And the whole while, the church is promoting a RC Jesus Christ. The church is promoting a RC Jesus Christ. And I'm going to prove in this session, I said in 16 minutes, I'm going to take and use a Hollywood movie. A Hollywood movie called The 300. And in 16 minutes, tops, I'm going to show you the skills and the drills to crush this fake RC Christian Jesus Christ walk that the Kardashians and Kanye and Snoop and the industry are promoting, and that the churches are following. So it's leaving parents like my brother Spider Lowe and the world who trying to still raise children in the way that they should go. It's leaving them high and dry, fighting by themselves. So we're gonna give them the Hav-Life coaching principles to switch from a Snoop's youth football league to play in the ultimate Game of Thrones, in the supernatural Super Bowl. We're going to give any family, any single parent mother, any single parent father, any couple, any orphan, anybody in any scenario, all things to all people, anybody still looking to guide your loved ones to win the championship over this fake phony, I'm going to show you Hollywood confession. And then in 16 minutes, I'm going to go into the Kardashian and Kanye West RC Christian fake Jesus walks. And I'm going to show y'all the play to run. I'm going to show you the play that they running that's hidden in code in this Hollywood film, the 300. And in 16 minutes, I'm going to show you how it just takes 16 minutes and take the play that the Kardashians and Kanye West and Snoop Dogg and Hollywood and your churches and your politicians and everybody is running. And if you run these skills and drills and you teach it to the loved one that you trying to get to play on the winning team, I guarantee you they're going to win. 16 minutes. After I show it to you, I'm going to put the clock. I'm going to break it down in 16 minutes. I'm going to draw the diagram up just like we do it on the sideline. And I'm going to show you how to crush that, which I'm going to reveal that the play that Hollywood's running on the big screen and that they running in real life against you. Ready? You ready? My remote at.
Rape. After you're done with this?
Yeah, maybe. Right now, I'm gonna show you the high priest. The high priest where they getting their playbook from. And I'm gonna take you to the 300, the movie in the 300. But the 300 is the documentation of this priesthood back when Greece and Rome was there. I'm just showing you the priesthood modern day out their own mouth calling the play in the RC Christian Jesus Christ walks that Kanye put in the song, and that all of these Christians run around here worshiping in Christian churches in under the umbrella of this priest. This day priest.
Black magician, drug fiend, sex addict, Aleister Crowley, the man who called himself the Beast 666, black magician, drug fiend, sex addict, and traitor to the British people.
I want none of your faint approval or faint dispraise.
Who is he? He's British, right? Who was the Confederates? They was British. Who was Queen Elizabeth II that talk about she wears the royal crown in England? She's British, right? Around Queen Elizabeth II, when she became queen, she had some priests come out and they did a holy anointing, right? Who were those priests that came out and anointed Queen Elizabeth? These same British priests. Same RC Christian, Jesus Christ. Same priesthood. Every single monarch in Europe is under this priesthood, because they all are under the Roman Catholic Church, and the Roman Catholic Church is this priesthood. This is the true Roman Catholic Church worship. When they go into the Vatican and when they go in behind closed doors, when they close the doors in the Vatican, when they close the doors in the Catholic churches, when they close the doors, this is who trained this priest.
To hell with Christianity, rationalism, Buddhism. I want blasphemy, murder, rape, revolution, anything bad or good, but strong.
I want murder, rape, blasphemy, revolution, anything bad or good, but strong. Okay.
And when Horus found that Isis would not aid him betray Osiris,
Aleister Crowley. Let's hear that priest tell you what his number one enemy is out his own mouth. Let's hear their priest, Aleister Crowley. You heard him say Horus. Horus is their RC Jesus Christ. Horus, or Baphomet of Egypt. When they talk about Jesus Christ, Jesus walks, the song, Jesus walk, he's talking about Horus. RC Christian. RC stands for Roman Catholic. Christian. Jesus Christ. I like to thank God. When they go up to the podium, they say, I like to thank God. This is who he gonna tell you. He gonna tell you.
Part of Aleister Crowley's so-called sex magic included
Part of Aleister Crowley's so-called sex magic. Okay, so this priesthood has sex magic rituals attached to it, of course, because the worship of RC Jesus Christ is a sexual offering and practice. Okay?
orgies with little boys who Crowley molested.
Orgies with little boys that Crowley molested. The priesthood is a priesthood. Don't get surprised or shocked. To worship Apollo. Apollo, the god, the Roman god Apollo, married little boys. The Romans always, the Greeks always, in the Greek worship system, it was Zeus who married little boys. RC Christian, Roman Catholic Christian, they're still worshiping. They have priests who still have sex with little boys. Sexual black magic rituals. I'm talking about Kanye West and Kim Kardashian and Hollywood and Snoop Dogg and Jay-Z and the rap industry and the NBA, Magic Johnson and the NFL and Cam Newton and yo, the list goes on and on and on. When they take their awards, I want you to know, when they say, I like to thank God, when they say, I like to thank Jesus, I like to thank Jesus. Horus or Baphomet is the Jesus Christ in Egypt. And the worship of their Jesus Christ is a sexual black magic ritual where men sleep with little boys. Women are in the way. This is about reversal, role reversal. Role reversal. Whatever God said do, we're going to do the opposite. So if it said a man is supposed to be a woman to worship the Jesus Christ of Egypt, Baphomet or Horus, you got to do the opposite of whatever God ordained. That is the only worship Baphomet, Horus accepts.
Crowley taught that in order for the new eon of Antichrist to be established, he had to initiate the world into homosexuality.
In order to usher in a new eon of the Antichrist, he had to usher the world into, he had to usher the world. How can you usher the world in pop culture, entertainment? Aleister Crowley is the high priest of all entertainment. The Beatles loved all rock and roll. Elton John, They love, listen, Aleister Crowley is the priest of pop culture. How can you usher in an age around the world by creating pop culture?
Crowley began by implementing many of his homosexual sex magic rituals into a secret order called the OTO.
Secret order called the OTO. Why would he have an order? Because I told you, everything that God does, Satan creates an equal and opposite counterfeit. God presented himself to Abraham and collected the very first offering from Abraham as the king of Salem, the king of righteousness, high priest after the order of Melchizedek, after the order. These dudes ain't smart. These dudes ain't wise. These dudes are not original. They're fake copycat artists who simply reverse the original blueprint. Whatever the original is, they just do it backwards. They invert it to pervert it and do it backwards. How original is that? And call it wisdom. Call it enlightenment. I'm just telling you the playbook. This is the playbook. I'm going through the playbook. Going through the playbook of years past. I'm going through the playbook. This is how you win championships. You got to sit down and watch film. See what play they're running against you. So he created an order because God came and collected the offerings from someone and said he had an order. Go to a land I will show you, Abraham, and I will make of you a great nation. And then he received offering as a sign of worship and said he did it after as a high priest after the order of Melchizedek. So now they got a priest. Now he has an order called the OTO, fake copycat biter.
The musical group White Stains named themselves after erotic homosexual poetry written by Aleister Crowley, which Crowley grossly entitled White Stain. You're about to see startling evidence that Crowley had as much influence on the world with his sex revolution as he did with the drug revolution.
So this high priest created the sex revolution of the 60s, Woodstock, San Francisco, Haight-Ashbury, the opioid dens, the heroin addicts, and all of that. At the same time, the British, remember he's British, the same British took that same time, 100 years prior, they took the same priesthood into China. And they waged a opium war against China to go into China and destroy China. Same British for 100 years, 1880 something, went into China, same British, same Americans, went into Africa in 1885, all over the world. They're going all over the world with a drug revolution and a sex revolution. They had already destroyed India. That's why Gandhi and all that, they protest in India. It's the British and the US, DC and the British and the Roman Catholics, RC Christian, taking the RC Christian priesthood all over the globe with revolutions, which is war, which is drugs and sex. Sex, drug, rock and roll. Ain't that the theme? Ain't that the theme? Sex, drug, rock and roll. Sex, drug, rock and roll. And Roman Catholic Jesus Christ. Sex, drug, rock and roll, Roman Catholic Jesus Christ. Say it in order. Sex, drugs, rock and roll, Roman Catholic Jesus Christ, war. Sex, drugs, rock and roll, Roman Catholic Jesus Christ, war. Steal all the money. And when you do it 3 times over, those sixes make up 666. Sex, drugs, rock and roll, Roman Catholic Jesus Christ, war, steal the money. 666. 6 in India, 6 in China, 6 in America. 666. Sex, drugs, rock and roll, Roman Catholic, Jesus Christ, revolution, steal the money.
Aleister Crowley knew that if he was to establish the new age of Antichrist, he would have to destroy God's design for family, consisting of men and women as husband and wife.
Aleister Crowley knew. Rewind it again.
Written by Aleister Crowley, which Crowley grossly entitled White Stain. You're about to see startling evidence that Crowley had as much influence on the world with his sex revolution as he did with the drug revolution. Aleister Crowley knew that if he was to establish the new age of Antichrist, he would have to destroy God's design for family.
If he was going to usher in the new age of Antichrist, he was going to have to destroy God's design for families. He was going to have to destroy God's design for family. How do you do that? By getting counterfeit marriages to worship the counterfeit Roman Catholic Jesus Christ Horus Baphomet and engage in alternative sexual black magical rituals where the husbands and wives who are supposed to be in a faithful relationship to each other engage in the counterfeit sexual acts with same-sex individuals under the umbrella of marriage. That is Kim Kardashian, Kanye West, that is Hollywood, Snoop Dogg, that is Jay-Z, that is Magic Johnson, that is the Christian church, that is NBA athletes, football. Listen, he ushered it in. That is Woodstock. Y'all saw the movie Eyes Wide Shut. Y'all saw Woodstock. Everybody and the hippies all popping acid, all doing heroin. Everybody sleeping with everybody. Everybody sleeping with everybody. He ushered it in. And he told you in the 1800s before he did it that the reason I'm doing it is to destroy God's design for marriage. It's documented in his book that he wrote. This is a quote.
Of men and women as husband and wife. Crowley therefore declared in his book Magic Without Tears that family was public enemy number one.
Magic Without Tears, the family is public enemy number one, and we're going to destroy it with sex, drugs, rock and roll, revolution, sex, drugs, rock and roll, revolution, steal the money, Roman Catholic, RC Christian, Jesus Christ of Egypt, Baphomet, Horus, worship.
Crowley, who was out to destroy the family, said this, quote, think what horrid images it evokes from the mind.
Think what horrid images that evoke in the mind.
Not only Victorian,
so not only in England, what horrid images pop into your mind, not only Victorian, not only in England,
the family has been strong,
but wherever the family has been strong, wherever there has been a husband and a wife, and they produce children and raise children, train up a child in the way it should go. He said, wherever the family has been strong, not just in England, not just in Europe, wherever.
It has always been an engine of tyranny.
It has always been an engine of tyranny. God is a tyrant for creating on earth the model of the marriage that he has with his bride, the heavenly kingdom. God is a tyrant for giving to his children the same marriage that he has with his bride, the bridegroom cometh. God is a tyrant. This is his book, Magic Without Tears. This is a playbook. and Kim Kardashian and Hollywood, they built churches and they bait and switch. They bait you to come worship with them, and they've switched God's design for family with this high priest, and it is called Christianity. And the God that they pray to and worship to is Jesus Christ. Just the Jesus Christ in Egypt. Which is anti the creation Christ, the creator of heaven and earth.
Curse them. They are always in the way. To the performance of this work, speaking of the new age, the nearest object.
Our performance of our new work is to create a new age where we've ushered in. You saw what he created the Pride Parade. He created that. He created Woodstock first, and out of Woodstock came these Pride Parades. So now you live in the new age because he's ushered it in and it's acceptable now. And they trying to make it seem like, yo, if you ain't embracing it, you're violating people's human rights.
And the most obvious is the family. Often seen marching in homosexual parades as a sexually deviant.
The most obvious is the family. Most obvious enemy. Okay? So now let's go to Hollywood. Show you that Hollywood is on the same agenda. Hollywood is on the same agenda. This is the first quarter. I'll show you Hollywood. So now I'm going to show you in history where our people have always defeated the worship of this Baphomet, this Horus of Egypt. This priesthood teaching the people to live like this is not new. So just because now the Europeans in England and in Germany and in France and in DC, because the Europeans now want the whole world to follow them in this worship, I'm going to show you where our ancestors crushed this ignorant priesthood, crushed this team and this challenge before in history. It's not new. So you don't have to feel bad when you stand up and you tell your children that this ain't a civil rights movement. This is a counterfeit worship system that's lying to people. Okay? This is a playbook. You do not have to acknowledge when the other team wants to score against you. You do not have to allow them to score. So what? They want to get in the end zone. So what? The end zone happens to be in the draws of your children, according to their high priest. Yes, they want to get into the end zone. The end zone happens to be in the bedroom of your bride. So what? They want to get in the end zone. Who cares? This is just to show you they can't tell you that this is a civil rights movement. This is an agenda. This is a playbook. It changes the whole narrative. This is exposing Christianity. It's exposing every pastor that has ever co-signed. This exposes every Christian church who has espoused these lies. This is hundreds of years before Jesus Christ is around. Hundreds of years before Rome. The individuals in here are not even Europeans. That's what this is to show you. The Europeans got this from somewhere else. Our ancestors already defeated this. So they can't come and look into history and pick it back up, dust it off, and try and serve it to you again. And serve it to your children as a civil rights issue. It's been tried already, baby. You not new. Of course, they told you that the Persians, this is the Persian Empire. The Persians ain't nowhere near a European person. You got to ignore the fact that you're going to see supposed European people. These are people in the very first civilization of Earth, where the Bible calls the Garden of Eden. The people of that land are not Europeans. And when they stopped worshiping correctly and they started doing this trash, they lost the ability to be global powers, to be blessed, to be prosperous, to be kings. Their nations crumbled, their economies crumbled, their people died, they lost their fruitfulness. Other nations came in and enslaved them, took their land. This is how Europeans came on the scene. And because the Europeans had never ever created a Persian empire on the scale of this, then they come in and they change the name of Persia to Iran. And they tell you that Arabs are Europeans and Europeans built Iran. Whenever people of color lose their minds and enter into this insanity of worshiping a counterfeit Jesus Christ, the whole nation has always crumbled. Not only is this a playbook for them, but God's response to this supernaturally has been the same. Egypt crumbled and dissolved. Babylon, when they went to this, crumbled and dissolved. This is Persia, crumbled and dissolved. There was an Assyrian empire, same thing, crumbled, dissolved. Y'all know about the Canaanite land, crumbled. Listen, and then the crabs of Europe, the hermit crabs. Crabs are scavengers. They can't hunt. They don't sow seed. They don't plant. They don't reap. They don't harvest. They can only consume dead waste, scraps. The hermit crabs of Europe, every time one of these nations run they play, and God sends his children to execute judgment, their nations descend and crumble, never ever to return to the greatness that they had before they entered into this trash. And then the Greeks and the Romans come and try and, through storytelling, through movies, tell you, we built this great nation called Iran. And if you think that's greatness, compared to where Assyria was, compared to where Persia was, if you think that Iran is great, then you deserve their worship system. This is Christianity. This is Christianity. I'm going to say it again. This is Christianity. This is Christianity. Who comes after the Persians? The Greeks. Who? Who came after the Persians? The Greeks. The Greeks handed the kingdoms over to who? The Romans. And in 300 AD, Emperor Constantine came to these high priests after they had no more lands, they had no more money, they had no more power, but you know what they still had? They still had these rituals. They still had this lawlessness. They still had the knowledge of this trash. Hollywood made a movie called Eyes Wide Shut. This is the same orgy ritual that they do in Eyes Wide Shut, that they do in all of the movies. This is what they do. The nuns in their convents, the priests, they go to the convents, and behind closed doors, they sleeping with these nuns. They having babies with these nuns. They aborting the babies. Then they come back out into the parish and they fake like they are Christian. This is Christianity. This is the root of Christianity. Sees Emperor Constantine in 300 AD came and made these whores, these prostitutes, the priests that started the Christian church for Constantine when he said he became a Christian. This was his priesthood. The very first Christian church was founded with these high priests, these nuns. Very first Christian church. RC Christian, Jesus walks with me. That's the song Kanye made, right? Jesus walks, God show me the way, because the devil trying to take me down. Y'all know that the creator is the devil when it comes to this Jesus Christ. They elevate Satan to God, and the creator is the devil. The devil trying to take me down. Jesus walks, God show me the way. God is Satan. The devil trying to take me down. The creator trying to take me down. Everything that God created, they create the opposite, inverse. That's your nuns. These are your nuns.
Your gods were cruel to shape you so, friend Ephialtes.
This is your Catholic priest.
The Spartans, too, were cruel to reject you.
This is Pope Francis.
But I am kind.
Pope Francis.
Everything you could ever desire. Every happiness you can imagine. Every pleasure your fellow Greeks and your false gods have denied you, I will grant you.
This is Woodstock. This is the Beatles. This rock and roll.
Embrace me as your king and as your God.
Embrace me as your king and as your God. Jehovah. H to the Izzo. H to the Izzy. For shizzle my nizzle. Dribble down the VA. H to the Izzo. V to the Izzy. Embrace me as your God. Jehovah. Embrace me as your God, yo. The whole rap industry. The whole rap industry. This is what they selling. Been selling. But if you open up the word of God, to the book of Daniel, you will see heaven's playbook that crushed this nation. You will see in chapter 2 that God gave Daniel a vision before this entity came on the scene and before they lost when they delved down into this. Daniel told them, when y'all start worshiping like this, the Greeks gonna come and crush y'all. Babylon was still on the throne. This entity wasn't even around. He said, Babylon, when y'all start worshiping like this, God gonna respond and send a king named Cyrus, and Cyrus gonna crush you. Soon as Babylon did this, crushed, our track record is impeccable. Then Cyrus handed off the crushing to the Persians. Persians had a choice to make. Either we going to live the lifestyle that allowed Cyrus to crush Babylon, or we're going to follow in the ways of Babylon. And the minute that Cyrus passed the kingdom over to them, land was flowing with milk and honey. It was prosperity. God had blessed them. Boom, 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 boom. The minute that they started doing this, like the Babylonians did, God allowed the Greeks to come and crush the Persians. When the Greeks thought that they was blessed and successful because they had a new kingdom, and then when they got comfortable and they started doing this garbage, here come the Romans. And that the whole book of Daniel, before any of this happens, God tells all of these nations, if you mess around and worship the fake God of Egypt, I will crush you. I will crush you. I will crush you. I will crush every nation. I will crush you. Go read Daniel chapter 2. 3. And see if these kingdoms don't fall in line. Just Babylon, the Medes, the Persians, the Greeks, the Romans, Europe. And now that Europe is doing this, Daniel chapter 2, God said, when the kingdom with the 10 toes, 10 barbarian tribes of Europe, it was 10 barbarian tribes to the T. But 3 of the barbarian tribes fought against Roman Catholicism and are not counted in with the 10 tribes. So it went from 10 to 7. Them 7 nations over in Europe, identical to Daniel. Our playbook is impeccable. Our track record is even better than Floyd Money Mayweather. We spotless against this. If y'all join any other team, it is insanity. If y'all follow these Christians into this fake, they've been doing this since 300 AD. This under the name of Christ. The Egyptian Jesus Christ. They've been doing this. And before he died, he said, many will come in my name.
Yes!
Doing all manner of things in my name.
Soldiers, lead past that.
All right. So, let's go to present day.
And wanted to abort me. Speak about National Basketball Association is not owned by any blacks. Universal Music is not owned by any blacks. Any celebrity that you is not the real power. Because the real power that I am putting my life on, the life that today I speak about, you don't see them. God.
So Kanye West is masquerading as if he's running for president. Huh? And Kanye West, a slave to the Kardashian. Kanye West was hand chosen out of 20 different sex slaves. She went through 20 different sex slaves before choosing to use Kanye's narrative of the Roman Catholic Jesus Christ, of the Persian priesthood of Baphomet Jesus Christ. Reggie Bush of the NFL. She went through a couple dudes in the NBA. She went through baseball player. She went through Ray J. She was, listen, man, she was a hermit crab trying to find a priest that she could use as a mouthpiece. All right, I'm going to start the clock now. 16 minutes. I'm going to give you the playbook.